Alright guys, good morning. I'm going to go over the answers to the test review. If you haven't already, please take about 10 minutes and go over the test review by yourself first, and then watch this video to check your answers. Okay, number one, in Fairbanks, Alaska, the average January temperature is negative 13 degrees, while the average April temperature is 30 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the difference between these two average temperatures? Okay, so here I have 0 in the middle. I want to place these two numbers on a number line. Here's negative 13. Here is 30. So they're asking how far away are these numbers from each other. So we talked about this in class. Negative 13 is going to be 13 units away from 0, and 30 is going to be 30 units away from 0. So altogether, how far are these two numbers away from each other? So I'm asking myself, what is the total distance away? So you want to see, I'd actually want to add 13 and 30 to see how far they are away. And so 13 plus 30 is going to be 43. So the difference is 43 degrees. Okay? Another way I can show that answer is if I did 30 minus negative 13. If you remember Mr. Dominguez's song, you put a line down and turn it around, you'll still get the same answer, 43 degrees. Okay? On number 2, at 9 a.m. the temperature was negative 15 degrees. An hour later the temperature had risen 7 degrees. What is the temperature now? Risen 7 degrees. That means it's going to rise. Rise means it's going to go up. So I have my 0 in the middle. The temperature was at negative 15. And then it's going to rise 7 degrees. So as you can see, if I only increase 7, I'm not going to go past 0. So my answer is going to stay negative. And so what I'm doing here is negative 15 plus 7. And so that's the same thing. If I remember last night's notes, if I add a negative and a positive, I'm really making 0 pairs, and I'm really just subtracting. So 15 minus 7 is going to be 8. And do I have more negatives or do I have more positives? I have more negatives. So my answer is negative 8. The temperature is negative 8 degrees. On number 3, the temperature fell from 44 degrees to negative 56 in 24 hours in Browning, Montana on January 23rd and 24th, 1916. By how many degrees did the temperature change? As you can see, they give you a lot of numbers you don't really need. You don't need to know in 24 hours and on these dates. So kind of cross through all that stuff. What you really need to know is how far are these two numbers away from each other. So I have 0, I have my 44 degrees over here, and it went to this number, negative 56. So how many degrees did the temperature change? It started from here, and it's going to go backwards. So that tells me the temperature is going to change in a negative way. So 44 to 0, that's 44. And then from 0 to negative 56, that's 56 units. So all the way back, it's going to be what? I need to add these numbers. So that's going to be 44 plus 56. And that should be exactly 100. And it's going to be negative since I'm going backwards. The temperature changed negative 100 degrees because it started at the 44 and it went back to negative 56. So another way that you guys could write that would be 44 minus negative 56. And you change this into an addition problem, and you get the answer of, oh, I messed up. It should be positive. What did I do wrong? I don't know. I'm going to cross it out so I don't confuse anybody. How many degrees of temperature change? Well, yeah, this right here, since I'm going backwards, the temperature changed negative 100 degrees. I know I added 2 positives here. I kind of wrote this wrong. It should be negative and then a negative. Since I'm moving backwards this many spots. Sorry, that was confusing. I hope I didn't confuse anybody. You're going backwards, that's why the answer is negative. I should have wrote negative since I went backwards 44 and then went backwards 56. That's why it's negative. Okay, on the next one, a submarine is cruising at 40 meters below sea level. The submarine ascends 15 meters. What is the submarine's new location? So the first part is it's cruising at 40 meters below. You see that word below, that should tell you that the 40 is a negative number. So here's my 0, and I'm at negative 40. The submarine ascends. We talked about ascend and descend in the very first video. Ascend means it's going to go up. It's going to increase. So I'm at negative 40, and then I'm going to ascend 18. So I'm still in the negatives. And so what I'm doing here is I'm doing negative 40 plus 18. And whenever I add a negative and then a positive, I'm actually subtracting by making 0 pairs. And so 40 minus 18 should be 22? 32. No, 22. So it'd be 22 degrees. Or, I'm sorry, meters. And do I have more negatives or more positives? I have more negatives. So my answer should be negative 22 meters for this one. Sorry, I didn't put my answer in my paper. Negative 22. Okay? On this one right here, this last question on this page, this is very much like what you'll see on the bonus question tomorrow. The ocean floor is at negative 96. Tom has reached negative 15 meters. If he continues to move at 3 meters per minute, how far will he be from the ocean floor after 7 minutes? Okay, so I'm going to use my whole number line here. Here's negative 96, and he's going to start at negative 15. So the first part says he will move down at 3 meters per minute. So he's going to go backwards 3 meters per minute. So let me see here. He's going to go and do this 7 times. So he's going to go backwards 7 times 3 minutes. So he goes backwards minus 3. That's 1 minute. Backwards minus 3. That's 2 minutes. Backwards minus 3. 3 minutes. Backwards minus 3. 4 minutes. 5 minutes. 6 minutes, 7 minutes. So I did negative 3 7 times, and you guys should remember that's multiplying, right? So negative 3 times 7 means he went backwards 21 spaces total. So he was at negative 15 and he went backwards 21 spaces. So he went more negative. So I'm actually adding these two numbers, negative 15 plus negative 21, and that should be negative 36. So now he's at negative 36. But the question says, how far will he be from the ocean floor? So this is the ocean floor, the negative 96. So now I'm asking, how far is it from negative 36 to negative 96? So I need to subtract these numbers again. So let me do 96 minus 36. And I got 60. So he needs to go backwards 60 more meters to get to the ocean floor. So my answer should be negative, how far will he be? He is 60 meters away, and those are negative since he has to go left. Sorry, I hope I kept this all on the screen correctly. Okay? Alright, on the back side of this, it says, which state had the coldest temperature? Before I do all that, let me read my table. These are the temperatures on the table. And before I even, whoa, sorry, it's all blurry. Before I even answer the questions, let me put these numbers in order first. And focus my camera. There we go. Let's put these numbers in order. So make a number line. They're all negatives, right? So here's 0. The one farthest away from 0 is my least. So that's negative 36. And then negative 35. Negative 23, and then negative, oh, I messed up, negative 27 goes right here first. Okay, so there's my order. Which state had the coldest temperature? That means the farthest away from 0. That would be the negative 36, which is Indiana. Which had the greatest temperature listed? That one's closest to 0. That would be the negative 23, which is Texas. The lowest temperature recorded in Connecticut was between the lowest temperature recorded in Alabama and Massachusetts. So we don't know what Connecticut's temperature is. It's in between negative 27 and in between Massachusetts. No, wait, yeah, Massachusetts, negative 35. So it's asking which of these numbers is in the middle of negative 35 and negative 27. So let's look at A. A says negative 40. That would be located over here. So it's not going to be A. This one says negative 37. That would be located right here. So it's not going to be B. Negative 32. That would be past 27. So that would be right about here. That answer looks correct. And then negative 40. They put the same answer on there twice? They sure did. So my answer should be C. It's in the middle. Would be right here. It's be negative 32. All right. 2 undersea cameras are taking a time-lapse photos in a coral reef. The first camera is mounted at negative 45. The second one is mounted at negative 25, which is closer to the surface. So here's a number line. Here's 0. 0 is the surface, and the positive numbers would be above land. All the negative numbers would be below the water. So this one is at negative 45, so that'd be like over here. And this is at negative 25. Which one is closer to the surface? Well, that would be then negative 25 is closer, because that's closer to 0. All right, on my last question, I hope I have enough space to work this out. It's solve the expression. So left to right, we did one of these on the video yesterday. I'm going to go left to right. So negative 8 plus 4, whenever I'm adding a negative and a positive, I actually subtract it because I make 0 pairs when I have negatives and positives. So that's going to be a 4, 8 minus 4, and then I have more negatives. So my answer is negative 4. And write the problem over again. So negative 4 plus 10, that's going to be negative 14. And then I have negative 14 plus 2. So negative 14 plus 2, that means I have a positive and a negative, so that means I actually subtract, and I get 12, and I have more negatives, so the answer is negative 12. And then negative 12 plus 7. Let me draw that last one out just for funsies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I on the screen? Yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Plus 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I cross out my 0 pairs, which mean I actually subtract the 2 numbers, and I'm left with negative 5 as my answer. All right. I hope you guys are ready for the test tomorrow. Be sure to have your notes ready. One good idea I saw a student doing is that they put sticky notes in their notebook to show them where all the important notes pages are. So let me show you that real quick. Okay, so I saw a student yesterday do this to their notebook, which is an awesome idea. Everyone should do it tonight before the test to kind of make their notebook easy to use. So kind of sticky note on the side, what are the important pages? And I just did the pages that I thought were the best ones. The integer, the very first page with the number line, shows you less than is on this side, greater than is on that side. Definitely do the coordinate plane notes. What else did I pick here? The integer addition number lines, that'll be on the test. The notes for multiplying and dividing, put a sticky note next to your little triangle for multiplying and dividing. And then the page we did last night, the flow chart. So all those pages would be great to have kind of bookmarked for the test. So I recommend tonight get a sticky notes or use a piece of tape or use something so you can kind of mark your notebook up, and then you'll have it ready to go for the test tomorrow. All right, thank you guys for watching, and have a good night.